Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. This evening, government has honored the 4th domestic debt exchange program and is ready to honor the 5th coupon payment through the sinking fund. And the statement from the presidency, has been saying so, and we've got more clarification on that for you through the statement. And I would like to share with you the statement. There you go. So it reads, President Mahama directs Ministry of Finance to settle DDEP coupons and build debt buffers through sinking fund. He goes on to say, following a directive from President John Mahama, the Ministry of Finance has today, 17th February 2025, honored the payment in cash PIC coupon of 6.081 billion cedis to all domestic debt exchange program bond holders. Government has also honored the payment in kind portion of 3.46 billion cedis deposited into the respective bondholders' securities account in line with the DDEP memorandum. Additionally, government has also paid into the debt service recovery CD account, known as the sinking fund, an amount of 9.7 billion cedis as a buffer for the 5th DDEP coupon that will fall due in July and August 2025. It goes on to say President Mahama is committed to the government's honoring of all obligations under the DEP. Through the 2025 budget statement, government will announce further measures that will help restore market confidence in the economy, prioritize spending, and improve transparency and accountability in public finances. It concludes by saying, ultimately, government seeks to restore fiscal prudence while ensuring value for every peso spent. Despite the challenging economy that was bequeathed by the previous administration, government is determined to bring back a stable cedi, control spiraling inflation, and create jobs for the teeming youth of our country. And of course, this is signed by the spokesperson to the president and also the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Fosu. On to some other stories. Partner at Deloitte, Gideon Ayeowu, says moves by government to rationalize Ghana's tax structure to help deal with issues of compliance is doable. This follows justification by President Mahama during an interview with Bloomberg News that the move is part of efforts to deal with compliance issues and revenue mobilization challenges. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Gideon Ayeowu maintained rationalizing the tax structure can be done.
I think it's doable. There's been a lot of discussions about this. Businesses are excited. They want more, obviously. But I look at the government side as well. It forms, if you look at the revenue it collected in 2024, and I am using the Bank of Ghana's reports around June, the COVID-19 levy and the e-levy, they form an average of 2.5%. And I think it's doable that can be done. We have the big four that I could say are untouchable, the usual VAT, PAYE, the import duties, and the corporate income tax. But these taxes do not contribute so much. That's the e-levy and COVID. As I said, averagely 2.5%. So that can be doable.
All right.
However, I was very happy the president at the Munich Security Conference mentioned touching the expenditure, because it's not just a matter of revenue. The two combine to give us the deficit. So if you reduce the revenue and you can also optimize the expenditure side and make sure that there is value for money, and we get, make sure our 1 cedi spent goes a long way, then it's possible and then it's achievable.
The newly appointed administrator of the Minerals Development Fund, Dr. Hannah Bisiu, has promised to work closely with various mining communities as she takes over from Dr. Norris Hammer. According to her, more mining companies will benefit from the fund. She spoke at the official handing over ceremony.
What you should expect from me is to deliver exactly the mandate of the MDF. The vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to better the lives of the various, the people living in the various mining communities. I think basically to make sure that the purpose for which MDF was established is realized. That is the vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I think I just took off as what I am bringing on board. After I meet with the staff, it will be established. So it's there, it's been put, and so as we move, you will find out a time where the nation is struggling to stand up on its feet, a time where Ghanaians expect so much from him, a time where the ordinary Ghanaian also wants to feel the piece of the national cake, a time where the ordinary Ghanaian wants to also have their dignity back, a time where bread and butter matters a lot to the Ghanaian. For him to ask me to come here, it means that he knows what he wants, and all that I would do as a servant is to obey and comply to the letter. So I have meetings with them, and we will take it from there. What are the liabilities? What are the assets? And we will see how we can harness the liabilities and turn them around, for them to be asset, because it was created as an asset, not as a liability. But it's human institution, so we'll find out from there.
Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado, has assured that youth-led initiatives such as Entrepreneurial Fund and the Coders Program will be implemented this year to support the entrepreneurial ecosystem. He made this revelation at the launch of the Youth and Women Business Policy Environment Reform Project, spearheaded by the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs and Investment Climate Forum facility. Here's a report.
According to statistics, about 40% of Ghana's adult population engages in entrepreneurial activities, with a significant number being young entrepreneurs. However, one major challenge facing the progress of the entrepreneurial ecosystem is the lack of tailored policies. To address policy barriers, the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs has launched the Youth and Women Business Policy Environment Reform. This project advocates for reforms that foster innovation, inclusivity, and business growth. Sheriff Gali, Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, shed more light on the project.
The framework seeks to allow ecosystem actors, together with the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, come together, identify where the policy gaps are, and advocate for reforms. So basically, that is the whole Wiper project. What are some of the business policies that are affecting youth and women doing business in Ghana? How can we be able to come out with strategies that we can be able to advocate for reforms? That is why the ICR facility, which is a British Council project funded by the EU, SMV, and GIZ, is supporting us to do now.
The framework, which is expected to be ready by May 2025, aims to deliver a data-driven guide to aid the development of the ecosystem.
The import of this project is to ensure that those gaps in those policy areas are filled, so that the young person can be able to get their business registered, can be able to register and pay their taxes and file, can be able to access funding without necessarily having issues. These are the things he's looking out for. And this is what we have not been doing all of these years.
Meanwhile, Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado, outlined a number of initiatives expected to be announced in the 2025 budget. He assured that an entrepreneurial fund will be implemented in 2025 to support startups.
The budget is yet to be read. It's one of the things we'll be pushing for. As part of our manifesto, we promise that we will set up an entrepreneurship fund. And you know that we've had a lot of funds in the system. We need to do an assessment of what those funds have become, whether they've turned out well or whether they've not turned out well. But it is a fund that His Excellency is committed to launching. We have few initiatives. In our manifesto, we made a 120-day pledge. The Coders program will definitely take place this year, so it will definitely find space. The entrepreneurial project will definitely find space in the budget, and the National Apprenticeship program. These are bold programs and bold initiatives that we promise that in 120 days it will be launched and it will take off. So certainly these programs will find space in the budget.
The project is spearheaded by the Investment Climate Reform in collaboration with the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, with funding support from the European Union, the British Council, and GIZ.
New president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Michael Abiu, has revealed that he plans to focus on programs that will help increase membership and engagement to aid public appeal. Dr. Abiu was last week elected as president together with 3 other executives to run the affairs of the institute for 3 years. Mr. Abiu tells Joy Business this is part of his Agenda 5/5 strategy for the institute.
I think it's the message. But mostly it's, I think, the desire of the members to have a new team, to relook at our activities, and also to reposition us as the leader when it comes to the marketing profession. I think that the message I put across spoke to them, and they responded positively. But for me, it's a big task ahead of us. A task that we will need all members to come on board.
If I follow the Chartered Institute of Marketing in Ghana, and I stand to be educated, there are some who would describe you as an outsider. I mean, help us to understand or dispel that perception that Mr. Bio is an outsider, and also you coming from MG Consulting. If you tell me more about them, what you guys are doing. But first, the question about you an outsider.
So, I have been a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing for the past...
How long?
15 years. And I have contributed, my entire career to the environment of sales and marketing. Starting as a sales agent at KEK Insurance Brokers. And through the ranks, being a head of business development, being a chief marketing officer, and now at MGA Consulting, and the past, since 2013, been helping and developing the marketing professionals within the industry. We have trained and we have helped various organizations develop various sales and marketing strategies. And we've dealt with various industries, from banking to insurance to manufacturing to trade. We have really contributed, and I've been at the forefront. In fact, the last thing I did, which was remarkable within our sector, was convening the National Sales Leaders Conference, which happened last year, and fortunately we'll be having it again this year, which brought together over 2,700 participants across the length and breadth of the country, across various industries, to come to discuss the future of sales. And so I think I am more an insider, like any of my other colleagues.
What is going?
You heard President of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana in that interaction with George Wiafe. That's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Prime Sports is next with Razak Musbao.